What's up, everybody? Welcome to the episode 6 of the Stats Free Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Jarrell Hicks, here with you today. And let's get right into it, man. Let's get into some news that happened today, which I talked about last week, and I'm not surprised that it happened. Dana White has officially released Chris Cyborg. Something I called last week. They just didn't get along. She's been claiming that he's been bullying her and stuff like that, and you know he has in the past in public too. So along with things I've listed last week that he's um, done to her or not done to her, with her being a big name and former champion, he has not treated her as a champion, as a true champion that she should be. So they decided to part ways, and he will not pursue signing her again or matching any contracts. So um, that's kind of a sad news for UFC. She behind Amanda Nunes, she was the only one that could possibly, in my opinion, possibly beat her. So Amanda Nunes might retire, in my opinion, next year or two with no real competition with both belts in the women's division. But like I said, we saw it coming, so not a real big shocker, but kind of a sad news for the UFC. Um, don't want to spend too much time on this next stuff, but uh, the David Griffin and the LeBron James fiasco, not a big deal. David Griffin has walked his comments back. He said the Sports Illustrated magazine article was taken out of context, so he decided to, address it as a man. He did it on national TV live. I forgot what that show is called, but on ESPN basically, and he clarified his statement. So um, no real big deal. Him and LeBron have a good relationship, so they both say. So nothing really to talk about there. On to Stephan A Smith interviewing Carmelo Anthony. I talked about Carmelo last week and his future, and how I felt about his situation. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on that, but I want to shout out Stephen A for a great interview. I didn't watch it live, but I saw it on YouTube clips, and he did a great, phenomenal job. He asked Carmelo all the tough, real questions, and I was kind of surprised, but knowing Stephen A, I shouldn't be surprised. But he did a wonderful job, though. Like I said, asked the tough questions everybody want to know. Um, Asked real questions. Only question I think I didn't hear him asked, I wanted to get asked was or get answered was how Carmelo felt about not being invited to Team USA. Like I said, I did not see it live. I saw it. I saw YouTube clips. So I don't know if I saw every clip, but in total, the clips amounted to about 19, 20 minutes. So I'm not sure how long it was live, but I believe I did see every clip. If I didn't, if I missed that answer, I apologize. But I did not hear him ask Carmelo about his no invite to be on Team USA. Team USA was not a big deal. It's not nothing crazy, but that's just something I want to hear Carmelo's personal take on. I know he did mention it. Carmelo did a few times, but he didn't. I don't believe Stephen A asked how he felt about it, about not getting the invite. But it's no biggie. Like I said, Stephen A did a great job. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it because I talked about Carmelo last week. So let's get on to our main topics today. While we already on basketball, let's stay with basketball. Um, I see on NBA Twitter, it's a real big debate on who's the best big man in NBA. And y'all know my takes personally. I think Joel Embiid is the third best player in the world right now. With Kevin Durant hurt, with Kevin Durant healthy, he'll be fourth in my opinion. But no, I do love Joel Embiid. So, but people are saying Joseph Nurkic, not Nurkic, Jokic from the Denver Nuggets. What's his first name? Nikolai Jokic. Yeah. The center for the All-Star center for the Denver Nuggets, Nikolai Jokic, or Joel Embiid, who's the number one center uh, in the league today. I don't think it's really that close because Jokic isn't as proficient as Joel Embiid is on the defensive side of the ball. Joel is probably, I would just off the top of the head, probably the best shot blocking center we have. Him, Jared Allen, Hassan Whiteside don't play that much really. He didn't for the Heat this past season. Bam for the Heat. He's a decent shot blocker. He's solid. Let's see, JaVale McGee. No, yeah, Joel's probably one of the better shot blockers and overall centers at the overall defenders at the center position. Jokic isn't the strongest defender. He's a great passer, good scorer at all levels of on the offensive end, inside, outside, mid range. I'll still give Joel the better scoring mark. Joel, in my opinion, no matter what the stats show, because I believe Brett Brown and also Ben Simmons are at fault for Joel Embiid bad numbers shooting a 3-point ball. But I do believe Joel Embiid is a better scorer, better rebounder, better assist man. Oh no, excuse me. I think Jokic is the better passer, but Embiid can pass too. But Jokic is a elite passing big man. Embiid isn't quite elite, but he's average to slightly above average passer. But overall, let's say short and sweet, I'm gonna give it to Embiid. Like I said, Embiid is a top 3 player in my opinion for a reason. He's an overall monster offense, defense. He can do everything. I especially think he'll look a lot better once Ben Simmons spaced the floor out this next season and shooting the ball a little bit more. So I give it to Joel Embiid, but Jokic is a close second. I just think the defensive end separates Joel and Nikolai Jokic in the 1-2 ranking. But Nikolai Jokic probably top 15, top 20 player in the world right now. But yeah, I was kind of confused seeing that on Twitter. Like the best big man, who you talking about Davis and Embiid? But I saw Jokic. I'm like, I can see where the argument come from because he's a triple double machine. Talking about Nikolai Jokic, but that's just their system. They don't really have a passing point guard. Jamal Murray is a score first guard. Gary Harris, not really a playmaker either. So Jokic, highly gifted big man who can pass and score. So he does a lot of the passing from the post or from the elbow. So like I said, the Nuggets utilize his strength the best of anybody in the league. Outside of the way LeBron uses himself, I think Jokic is used great also in his system. But not that he's a system player, but the system kind of conforms around him and his skill set, especially with his point guard being a scorer. Like Jamal Murray, it's perfect for Jokic. He has 4 scorers around him: Paul Millsap, Gary Harris, Torrey Craig, and Jamal Murray. So that's a good lineup for Jokic to get his assist numbers up in. But I still do believe Embiid's the better player, the better center overall, but between the two. But I want to get straight into this prediction I have. A big trade prediction that I predict to happen at the trade deadline. So if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook at Stats Free Sports on both, Instagram, Stats Free Sports, at Stats Free Sports. Facebook, at Stats Free Sports. If you want to follow me, follow me. DM me, ask questions. We can we can debate on certain topics, on different topics. You can give me topics for the show. I love all the debate and chatter. So you want to get at me on Facebook, Instagram at Stats Free Sports on both of those social media sites. Again, at Stats Free Sports. But I have a trade deadline deal, bombshell deal that's gonna, in my opinion, that will happen. It should happen. I think it will happen. It works best for all teams involved, all players involved. Also, they all need fresh starts, brand new places to play. And I think this might be a situation they'll work out for a few teams. So that trade involves Bradley Beal and Chris Paul. But not just those two guys. It's a third player, a third, I'm not going to say star, but a fringe star, a potential star, if he ever gets consistent. But that's a three-way deal between three star-ish type players: Chris Paul, Bradley Beal, and Andrew Wiggins. And I think they'll all just rotate spots. So I think Chris Paul will be traded to Minnesota Timberwolves. Like as I said last week, I believe the Timberwolves are an option for Chris Paul. They're an outside option. I do understand that because he's, with Cat there, and they just got rid of Jimmy Butler. Why would you bring in Jimmy Butler attitude type of player like Chris Paul? But they might be so desperate to get out that Andrew Wiggins contract for the long term, they might take that short term loss and go ahead and take on Chris Paul contract. In the off season, this past off season, they were trying to get D'Angelo Russell, but he ended up getting traded to the Warriors. So they might be out of that mix. I don't think the Warriors. I could see the Warriors wanting Andrew Wiggins. I can see that, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think the Warriors. No, I might be tripping. Hold on now. So yeah, I know, man. I'm on track. So yeah, so Andrew Wiggins to the I got lost in it for a minute. Andrew Wiggins going to the Chris Paul going to the Timberwolves. Andrew Wiggins going to the Wizards to replace the hole that Otto Porter left a year ago when he was traded away to the Chicago Bulls, and then Bradley Beal going to the Thunder to partner up with Shai Gilgeous. He'll slide into the true point guard spot because with him and Chris Paul there, I'm sure Chris Paul going to be starting at the point guard, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be the two guard because his defense and him being so long and being a good young defender. So he'll slide into his natural true point guard position, while Bradley Beal being the star shooting guard. That's a better situation in my opinion than him being with John Wall in the Washington Wizards, because the Wizards has been on a plummet for the last 3 years, and John Wall had that freak injury. I think he hurt himself at home or something like that. He would have torn Achilles or something like that. He fell in the shower or whatever he made up. But he's out for all this season too. So he was out last season, out this season. So I'm going to look for the Wizards to potentially get back Andrew Wiggins and like a few of those first round picks that the Thunder have stored up for Bradley Beal. And also, I have some bad news for you Warriors haters out there. So that's option one for Bradley Beal. So Bradley Beal going to the Thunder, Chris Paul going to the Timberwolves to partner with Karl Anthony Towns, and Andrew Wiggins and a few first-round picks are going to the Washington Wizards for Bradley Beal, right? So that's option one. Option two, so all you Warriors haters are going to be mad, but I think the second option is for, in my opinion, the best move for Bradley Beal. Well, he might end up with the Warriors. And let that sink in. The Warriors going to remain a powerhouse next year, and for the next 2, 3, 4 years, if they can trade off D'Angelo Russell to the Wizards. I know they might need a third team to get involved because they do have John Wall still. They do have him under contract still. But if they can partner with the Wizards and get, or maybe a third team also, to trade D'Angelo Russell somewhere else, they get back Bradley Beal, partner up Steph Curry, Bradley Beal at the 2, and Clay at the 3 when he come back in January or February. That's still a dominant shooting team. That's not quite the death lineup they had with KD and Iguodala, on offense and on defense, but they're going to be an offensive firepower team still, and that might put them up there with the Lakers and the Clippers for the top 3 teams in the Western Conference. I think even without Bradley Beal, they can still beat the Houston Rockets. I still have them beating the Rockets. I have the Rockets ranked higher as a better team, overall team, just because I don't know how Clay's going to come back. But if Clay was fully healthy, I would definitely give the edge to the Warriors. But that's my two options for Bradley Beal. 2 blockbuster deals. I think the option 1 might be more possible because the Thunder have all those trade picks for him. They have a lot of trade assets. They have Dennis Schroeder, Steven Adams, about 10 first-round picks. So I think they can give up more. They have more firepower to come get Bradley Beal than the Warriors have. But D'Angelo Russell is a nice piece. He's definitely a nice piece, but we'll see where he goes. But I definitely believe Andrew Wiggins and Bradley Beal and Chris Paul will have to eventually be traded by the deadline. The Timberwolves are going nowhere with Andrew Wiggins. Bradley Beal is being wasted in Washington, especially with John Wall being out. And they traded away Otto Porter last year, so they really have a squad of nobodies that surrounding Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal put up great numbers, and he played well without any superstar help. He had all role players around him, and he played well. So him being in a great situation, a better situation, maybe contending for a title, will really put Bradley Beal in the spotlight and let him shine a little bit more than what he is doing now in Washington. And Chris Paul, he's definitely not gonna be there for a full year in OKC. If that happens, I'll be shocked. But I don't see it happening. Not one bit. I had some major news in the recruiting world that kind of went under the radar. A young man by the name of Marjan Beauchamp, excuse me if I mispronounce his last name. He's a rising senior. I'm not sure what high school, but he's a 4-star or a 5-star recruit currently. I'm saying 4 or 5-star because I looked him up when I seen the story, which I'm going to get to in a few minutes. When I looked him up on ESPN Top 100 high schoolers for his class, 2020 class, it says he's a 4-star. But every report I've seen said he's a 5-star. So I don't know what he really is, but what I've seen on ESPN 100 for the 2020 class, he's a 4-star recruit. He's a 29th recruit overall ranked, and he has a ranking of a 4-star 89. So I guess you round it up to a 90, he might be a 5-star, but I'm gonna stay with 4-star. But his name is Marjan Beauchamp or Marjan Beauchamp. Young man, 6'6", 180. Like I said, I forgot what high school he goes to, but he's deciding to skip going to college. He had a few, not a lot. He had any big time like Duke, Kentucky offers, but he had a few good offers. He had a lot of offers, but a few good, big name, decent offers. Trying to think of who was up there. I forgot who was up there, but yeah, nothing like Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, none of the blue blood powerhouses. But he did have some nice offers though. But he's decided to turn that down and pursue the NBA by taking the entire year off from school and just focus on training. Um, Let me see this camp. He has a camp he's going to. Excuse me for 1 second. Find the camp name. Shoot. Let's see. Marjan Beauchamp is going to train at the Chameleon BX Adapt, Overcome, Achieve. Oh, excuse me. That's the slogan. But he'll be training with the Chameleon BX training team. He'll be training with that team for the entire year, getting prepared for the NBA draft, and I love the move. I love it. Same with RJ Hampton going overseas first. I love that move more because the overseas scene has a lot more NBA veterans and NBA proven players over there in Europe and the overseas scene, so he'll have more experience than Marjan going into the draft and more playing time where scouts can see him play. But Chameleon BX camp does have a few NBA coaches, former NBA coaches, NBA scouts that help that train at camp. So Marjan should be getting in pretty good work. From what I've seen, reports about who his player comparisons is, it's kind of early to tell. He's only a rising senior in high school, but they say his play reminds people of a young Paul George. So take that for what it's worth. He's only 17, 18, or 16, 17, but they say he could be, long term, looking down the road 5, 10 years from now, if he projected at his ceiling, they say he might be a Paul George type player. So, that's something a team might want to draft early on and draft and put him in the G League and let him grow and develop. But I love the move of skipping college and going straight to training because it's a business. School isn't for everybody. You don't have to go to school for 1 year. If you know what you want to do what you want to do. You don't got to go to school and waste your time and do all that and, do school work. If you want to just play basketball and you have a future in doing it, put your efforts, put your money where your mouth is and do your thing. So I like what Marjan is doing. I like what RJ Hampton is doing. Like I said, I like RJ Hampton move overseas a little bit more. I would rather you play overseas and get some time in with proven veterans. But I like Marjan's deal too. I just wonder if he'll be fully prepared for what's gonna for the draft combine and all the other stuff. But he's going in the same route. The other young man, forgot his name. He went in the second round or late first round in this year's draft. But 2 years ago, he was going to Syracuse. He committed to Syracuse, but ended up rescinding his offer and decided to sit the whole year and train. And he was a young man that got that Adidas or Reebok or one of those shoe companies. He got a scholarship, or not scholarship. He got a internship worth $1 million to intern at one of the shoe companies and stuff like that. He learned the shoe game and the ins and outs of the shoe game. And while he was doing that, he still trained and stuff like that. But he did get drafted. I forgot the young man's name. He played in summer league. He did get drafted. I forgot by who, but he got drafted in the late first round, early second round, and they say he had potential still. He still had potential. He showed improvement from high school to that year off to where he's at now. He showed improvement. He's gotten better. So, maybe Marjan follow in his footsteps and get drafted hopefully and show improvement in summer league. And oh shoot, stop recording. You're still recording? Oh shoot, no man, still recording. Sorry, but I don't know if it paused there or not, but hopefully Marjan can follow in his footsteps. I don't know where to stop there, but let me go over what I just said again. The young man who was going to Syracuse, committed to Syracuse 2 years ago, ended up not going to Syracuse. He declined the offer and took an internship with one of the school companies. With one of the shoe companies, a $1 million internship. He ended up signing with Clutch Sports, LeBron James, Rich Paul agency, and he did that internship for an entire year while still training for the NBA. He got drafted in the late first round, early second rounds. I forgot by who, but he performed well in summer league. So hopefully, Marjan Beauchamp or Baychamp, excuse me for the last name. I don't know how to pronounce it, but hopefully he can follow in his footsteps and get drafted and play well also. But that's really it for my NBA topics. Like I said, it's kind of a dead season for the NBA. Nothing really major going on. But I do have some good topics in store for the next few weeks. I already have the topic list down in my phone and inside of my notes. I have some good topics. Nobody, mainstream media never debate shows. They never do new topics or topics outside the box. So I have some in store for y'all. So be ready for those the next few weeks. But so let's get into the NFL. No, before the NFL, let's go to Last Chance U. I saw that series. Me and my wife saw that series. I think last weekend. But I just want to talk about the culture of Last Chance U. I've seen all 4 seasons when they were in East Mississippi, the first 2 seasons, and they were in Kansas at Independence the last 2 seasons. And it's been a lot of uproar about Coach Brown. I forgot the first coaches from East Mississippi. I forgot his name, but about their coaching styles and how aggressive it is, and how they have a dirty mouth and cuss a lot, and there's not a good environment for kids to be around. I played football, played high school ball, played middle school ball. I had coaches that decided not to cuss and not to get in your face on that rah-rah. I had coaches to do the rah-rah and get in your face, cuss you out, not spit in your face, but spit flying. They real animated when they talk. I had both. I've seen both. And it's just really how it depends on the person on how they take it. Some I've seen teammates not be able to take that well, end up quitting or leaving the team or getting kicked off the team or not responding to the actions well. But I've seen some take it and they just took it in stride and worked on their game from the harsh criticism. You know what I mean? So it just depends on how each person takes it. But it looks like Coach Brown and the other coach, sorry for saying the other coach, I forgot his name. But Coach Brown, especially from at least talking about the last two seasons, he doesn't care which player it is. He doesn't differentiate, and he doesn't pick and choose his spots. He come at everybody the same way every time, which shows consistency. That's good, but you also have to learn the players and learn what they need to hear and what they should hear. You know what I'm saying? It's good to show consistency and you're fair with everybody, but at the same time, every player doesn't respond the same. So doing the animated, super aggressive talk kind of sometimes loses players and loses people. Even outside of sports, it loses people. So Coach Brown, the only reason why I'm talking about this is because I've seen a post or a TV show. I forgot where I was at. I seen something or read something about can Coach Brown, because he said it on one of the seasons that he's been getting D1 offers and D1 looks, but he turned them down because he'd rather stay in JUCO. And people were saying he might be lying, and what major program would want to hire Coach Brown to be their face of the franchise, their face of the school. And I kind of do understand that, but you do have coaches out here like Frank Martin, the former Kansas. We do have guys out here like Frank Martin, the former Kansas State basketball coach, men's basketball coach. Um, I forgot. I think Frank Martin might be at South Carolina now. The South Carolina Gamecocks. I think he is over there. But yeah, he's been very aggressive, put his hands on players, got in players' faces over the years. So I think there's a place for it. So I'll disagree with the person saying he might be lying, or Coach Brown might be lying about his job opportunities and the D1 offers. I don't think it'll be a big major program, but I think a mid-level, your average D1 team, maybe one of your lower level D1 teams, I think they'll bring Coach Brown in. I really think they would, because he'll provide some celebrity and some spark, and maybe provide some good recruiting to your program that other coaches couldn't, from the fame from the show. So you never know, but I think there is a place for Coach Brown in the D1 ranks, maybe lower level, mid level D1, or like top level D2. But I think there's a place for Coach Brown, because there's a place for Coach Frank Martin. Like I said, he's been very aggressive with players. He put his hands on players a few times, um, stuff like that. So if there's a place for him in men's basketball, football is more violent, uh, is more acceptable to be violent, and more acceptable to be flagrant and stuff like that. I think there's definitely a place for Coach Brown um, in the D1, low level D1, maybe high level D2 type of program. But let's see what else. I want to give a big shout out to Greg Jennings and Ryan Clark, two former players. Ryan Clark being known for his time being a safety, was it free safety or strong safety? Being safety for the Pittsburgh Steelers for a long time, probably about 8 to 10 years, plus years. After that, he went to the Redskins, whatever. But we know Ryan Clark for being a Pittsburgh Steeler. And Greg Jennings, we know him for being a Super Bowl champion with the Green Bay Packers. He played with Brett Favre. He was a star receiver there with Brett Favre. Also the star receiver for Aaron Rodgers when they won the title in 2011. I believe Ryan Clark won a title or two with the Pittsburgh Steelers also, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, those two guys, man, I want to shout out to those guys, because as analysts, I don't watch too many people. Like I said, I rarely watch First Take. Like I said, I saw First Take today on YouTube. I don't really watch it live anymore since Skip Bayless left. Um, but I do watch Undisputed sometimes live, rarely, but I do watch it. But I watch most of my clips on YouTube. But when they have special guests on, or guests to help with a segment, I I always pick and choose who I like to watch with Skip and Shannon, or sometimes used to be with Skip and Stephen A. But I always click on Ryan Clark and Greg Jennings, especially when they're filling in for one of the guys full time for the entire show. I really watch them because I like to see their viewpoints on things because they keep it real, and those two guys keep it very honest. I know there's more players out there that do analyst work and they probably do the same thing they do, be real and honest about certain situations. But I don't watch those guys, so I can't comment on those guys. But I do have a lot of respect because I do watch Ryan Clark and Greg Jennings a lot in the past. On First Take, when Skip was on First Take, I used to watch Greg Jennings over there and Ryan Clark. And I believe both guys might have went with Skip to FL, not went with him, but I think they both. I know Greg Jennings for sure is on Fox Sports 1. I'm not sure about Ryan Clark. I don't remember. I think Ryan Clark is on Fox Sports 1 also, if I'm not mistaken. But those two guys, man, they're not scared to go to battle with their former fans of their teams. You know, Greg Jennings is always called upon when an Aaron Rodgers topic is on, and he doesn't shy away from the topic. And he does it so well that I respect him because he doesn't all out bash his quarterback like some former players do. He tells the good and the bad. He tells the truth. You know what I mean? He tells the good of Aaron Rodgers and the bad of Aaron Rodgers. And he tells what seems like it's the blatant truth. You know, some guys, I'm gonna say their names, but some of the analysts be kind of wishy-washy on their topics. They pick and choose who they want to critique. But Ryan Clark which Ryan Clark has also been very opinionated on Antonio Brown and Big Ben. So, you know, and Mike Tomlin to a certain degree. So I do enjoy those two guys, watching those two guys. They're not scared to hold nothing back. They're doing their job to the fullest. They're not picking and choosing who they want to critique and not. And they're not scared to go to battle with their former diehard fans because, you know, they saying they might be a traitor or, you know, even former teammates saying you're snitching on them and stuff like that, but they're just doing their job. But they are doing it in a fair manner. You know, every time, like I said, every time it's a package situation going on with Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy, when the big Mike McCarthy scandal came out with the big article, Greg Jennings was on TV for a week straight. You know what I'm saying? And he came to every interview, came to every segment, told the truth, told the good, told the bad, told the in between. You know what I'm saying? And Ryan Clark has done a pass in the same manner with the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, Mike Tomlin organization. You know, the Steelers organization had issues the last few years with Le'Veon Bell holding out, Antonio Brown wilding out when he wanted to. So Ryan Clark has came to battle, you know, on words. He had words on Twitter with Antonio Brown a few times, and Greg Jennings has had through the media back and forth with Aaron Rodgers a few times and other former teammates. So I just want to give those guys a great shout out. I mean, a big shout out for doing a great job and doing their job fairly. I appreciate them two guys. Yeah, man, I like guys like that, man. Ryan Clark and Greg Jennings, former players, keeping it honest and keeping it fair. So let's move on to what I think might be the toughest division in NFL football right now, which is the NFC North. You have 4 decent teams. You have 3 good teams, 3 playoff-bound teams. You know, only 2 can probably get in, but you have the Detroit Lions, which are the babies of the division. You have the Minnesota Vikings, playoff team, potential playoff team. The Green Bay Packers, they missed the playoffs the last 2 years, but you know you never count out Aaron Rodgers. And you have my second favorite to come out of the NFC, the Chicago Bears. So you kind of know where I'm leaning towards already. Who will be ranked first and last in this division? But I'll go ahead and go first. So you know where I'm going to first. The Bears are gonna be first for me. And depending on seeding, on how well on their eventual seeding, if they get if they get the first seed, if they get home field over the New Orleans Saints, who is my first overall seed, or my best, who I think is the best team in the NFC, with everyone healthy, I think the Saints are a better team than the Chicago Bears. But if the Bears somehow get if the Bears somehow get the number one seed over the Saints, or a better seed than the Saints, and get home field advantage, I think it's a wrap. And they play in that cold, they play in the outside weather at Soldiers Field in Chicago. I think it's a wrap. I think the Bears gonna eat Drew Brees up for dinner during that game. But it all depends on seeding for me. It's all on seeding. If the Saints get home field over the Bears, I think the Saints win in a close game. But if the Bears get home field in that cold weather in November in December in the NFC Championship game, that's who I'm predicting to be those two teams. I really think the Bears are gonna wipe the floor with the Saints. Drew Brees has shown age over the last few years, same as Tom Brady. But he kind of dwindled down. He kind of dwindled towards the end of the season last year. So I think the outside weather, the outside cold, will definitely affect. And that great defense of the Chicago Bears, led by Khalil Mack and Eddie Jackson, I think they're gonna do a number on Drew Brees if they do wind up playing them outside in Soldiers Field in that cold weather. But number one, I have Chicago Bears. I like them a lot, man. I like them a lot. The word in camp is Mitch Trubisky is playing great. He's playing well. He has improved since last season. He was a game manager. They say he's still a game manager, but he's managing better. He's making better throws. He looks more confident. He knows the playbook more. They still have weapons. They have Mike Davis, Tariq Cohen. They have a receiver, Taylor Gabriel, speedster. I like a lot. This next guy, Anthony Miller out of Memphis. He was I don't know what round pick, but he was a mid to late draft pick last year for the Chicago Bears. Anthony Miller out of Memphis, if I'm not mistaken. Great receiver. I like him a lot. I expect a big year from him this year. Good running game with Tariq Cohen and Mike Davis. Cool receivers. I like those two a lot. Their defense, man, is their calling card. Their defense is going to win them a lot of games. If Khalil Mack can show up how he did last year, but Khalil Mack has to be more consistent. He has to be. He played in spurts. So, I don't know if it's a motor or whatever, but he has to step up more and be more consistent with the great defense around him. He played balls to the wall in Oakland Raiders, with nobody around him. But with the team around him, he didn't play balls to the wall. He needs to be consistent. That motor has to keep going the entire game, not just pick and choose. But he played a great year last year. Kind of was silent through the end of the season, the last few games of the season into the playoffs. He was kind of silent, kind of sort of a little bit. Just look for him to be more consistent, more of a high running motor. But their defense is nasty, man. They have Leonard Floyd, Khalil Mack, Eddie Jackson, Kyle Fuller at cornerback. I like them. They have Roquan Smith at middle linebacker. Whew, it's gonna be tough. It's a tough defense, man. Tough defense. But I have them ranked number one in the NFC North. Number two, I have the Minnesota Vikings. So that means I do have the Aaron Rodgers led Green Bay Packers. Number three, I have them not making the playoff for a third straight year. Even though their defense, before I go to the Packers, I'll go to the number two team, to the Vikings. They have a shot at the wild card for sure. I just don't believe in Kirk Cousins. Good offense, Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Kevin Rudolph. solid weapons. I'm just not a believer in Kirk Cousins. Never have been, never will be. He's a worse version of me of Alex Smith. You know what I mean? And I'm not really believing in Alex Smith either. So, but I do believe in Alex Smith more than I like Kirk Cousins. So, that's even that's worse on Kirk Cousins in my opinion. So, um, he's just a dink and dunker. He's not clutch at all. He doesn't show any clutch gene in him. Um, I'm just not a big Kirk Cousins fan. It depends on the running game too. He needs a running game to work for him. Which is a lot of quarterbacks. It's not a bad thing. A lot of quarterbacks do too. Tom Brady does too. Because if Tom Brady had a running game in the Super Bowl last year, it would have been a different story. But that's another topic for another day. But those Vikings, if they had a different quarterback, they could challenge in my opinion, they could challenge the Bears. Their defense is right on par with the Bears, probably a little step behind. If the Bears defense is at 8-9, I think the Vikings are 6-7, 7-8, somewhere in that range. They're right behind those guys. But I think on the offensive end, I think the Bears are a little bit better. Um, I know Kirk Cousins is more seasoned than Mitch Trubisky is, but I like the weapons more. I like Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, but I like the gadget plays. They all ran last year. Tariq Cohen is a great weapon to have. A good weapon out of running back. He can move to the slot. He can move to receiver. Um, it's like I said, I like Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen a lot, but I think by committee, Anthony Miller and Taylor Gabriel and all their gadget plays and weapons, along with Cordell Patterson for the Bears, they're a little bit better than me as a group than the Vikings have. So I have Vikings number 2, Packers number 3. Um, another missed year, in my opinion, for another missed playoff for Aaron Rodgers, third straight. Um, it's all come down to having no running game. That's all it is. He hasn't had a running game in a long time, if ever. If I remember, I'm not sure. Maybe his championship year, 2011, might have been his running game when he had a running game. I'm not really sure, but he hasn't had a running game in a long, at least 3-4 years, at least 4 years for sure. He hasn't had at least an average running game. His running game has been subpar for the last 4 years, at least. But Jeremy Jeremy Graham is Jeremy Graham. Graham at tight end. He hasn't really delivered like they thought he would. He's been okay, but he hasn't been. You're not gonna get Jeremy Graham. Is it Jeremy Graham? I'm gonna say Graham. I forgot his first name. But you're not gonna get Graham from the Saints. You're not gonna get that. But every year since he's been with the Seahawks and now to the Packers, he's kind of been on the downside of his career. He's been okay, but he's not been what they needed him to be. Devontae Adams is still a stud, their best receiver, by far. But no running game. Graham isn't doing what they thought he would do. Devontae Adams will get I'm sure a few double coverages, a lot of doubles this year. Their defense has gotten better. Clay Matthews gone, but he hasn't been a factor for a few years either. But the defense, especially their cover corners and safeties, they've gotten a lot better. They drafted well. They drafted young guys who played well over the last year or two. They keep getting better. They have Amos back there at the safety position from the Bears. The Bears and the Packers kind of traded safeties. Amos from the Bears went to the Packers. Clayton Dix went from the Packers to the Bears. So they kind of swapped, but I think is better than Amos in my opinion. I think he'll fit better and be able to roam better back there and hit better than he did in Green Bay. but he was a stud in Green Bay. I think he'll even be better in that great defense with the Bears than he was with the Packers. But yeah, I had them third. No running game. Still a young defense. They're better, but still a young defense. And no running game for Rodgers with no real help for Devontae Adams. I think gonna cause them to be third again. Um, and for the Lions, um, not too much to say about them. It's still the Lions. They need to find a big trade for a receiver or something. Matt Stafford had that big contract for no reason. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but um, Matt Stafford doesn't really have the weapons necessary to compete in that division. He's probably the second best quarterback behind Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North, but his weapons are subpar to average. Nothing real special. They have Marvin Jones. He's cool. He's cool, but nothing to really write home about. Yeah, not really. No real need to discuss the Detroit Lions. They just gotta. Yeah, no real need to discuss the Lions, man. They just gotta find something. But I don't know what, but they gotta find something. Well, that's really it for football. I have more topics, but I'm gonna wait for next week to bring them on. I do have more topics of football, but I'm gonna keep those for next week. Um, let's see. On to it's a cool story in the show with cool story involving let's see. I'm gonna have to end it if I don't want to. The thing is, I'm not recording. The reason why episode 5 was only on SoundCloud is because I'm recording on my tablet right now. I have a microphone hooked up to my tablet, but I normally record on my laptop, which lets me have it on all platforms. But the tablet, the way the megabytes come on download so fast. Am I saying it right? Whatever. But the way it records basically on my tablet, it gets a lot fuller faster. So, and the website I use to upload my content on, so it'll be available on all platforms. It has a threshold, and recording on the tablet for too long goes over that threshold. So I'm trying to see where I'm at right now. I should be good. So cool. So we can do one more football topic, and then we'll go to the last topic. It's a cool story I found out on Instagram today. But we can go to a topic. Basically involving, well, basically is Ezekiel Elliott versus Jerry Jones, but not really those two guys. It's really about knowing your value, knowing your value, and knowing what you're worth, man. I think Zeke should still hold out. I don't think Zeke should look out for no team. He'll look out. I know Jared Jones. They say helped him out with his issues off the field. Got him great lawyers. Got him the help, whatever, and that's fine. But at Jared Jones, you knew what you were drafting. He's notorious for drafting bad character to iffy character to just not bad guys, but just bad judgment guys. That have poor judgment. And Zeke was one of them guys. In college, had a few mishaps. And they still took him fourth overall. 4 years ago now? And no, they got what they wanted from him. They got great work on the field, but they also got what they should have known they were going to get, which was baggage off the field. So, but all in all, though, Zeke should hold out for what he's worth. I don't care about Todd Gurley's injury, and the Rams might regret that. I'm not Todd. Zeke should come to the standpoint where I'm not Todd Gurley. I've not been hurt yet. The only time I missed games was when I was suspended by NFL. for 4 games, I believe it was. But other than that, Zeke has been the best running back in the NFL outside that year with the suspensions. Zeke has been amazing, and he's been everything y'all want him to be on the field and off the field. So if I'm Zeke, I'm going for what I'm worth, and that goes to that not goes just to him as a player, but to see where his team is at overall. I don't think Dak Prescott can lead the Cowboys to a Super Bowl without Zeke. I don't see it happening. I don't care what running back they bring in, Alfred Morris, unsigned free agents, current free agents, trade for Adrian Peterson. It's not gonna happen. They are not Zeke. It's not gonna happen. No way, no how. Shout out to Rob Parker. Not gonna happen. Zeke is not that good yet. If he'll ever be that good, I don't believe so. But he's not that good yet. I don't care about Amari Cooper, Jason Witten back. Doesn't matter. You need a ground game for Dak Prescott, same as Mitch Trubisky. I do think Dak is better than Mitch Trubisky is, but I think like I said, all quarterbacks, Kirk Cousins, Ben Roethlisberger, all quarterbacks for the most part need a running game to help with their passing game. It's not a bad thing. It's just, everybody needs help. Nobody except for maybe Pat Mahomes right now can win without running the ball effectively. Pat Mahomes, Big Ben, Phillip Rivers, Drew Brees. That's about it. Andrew Luck, because Andrew Luck has been winning without a run game for a long time, a run game and pass protection. But outside of those guys, not really too many quarterbacks can win without a good running game. Tom Brady needs a running game. He needs one bad. A good old line and a running game. Tom Brady needs that. Like I said, it's not a bad thing, but that's what the standard quarterback needs anyway. But Big Ben can do his thing without a running game and without a good old line. I've seen Big Ben do it. I've seen Phillip Rivers do it. I've seen a few guys do it, man. So I think Dak is one of those guys that need a running game. So and Zeke is that guy to alleviate that pressure off of Dak. So Alfred Morris might do it for a game or two, might do it for a quarter or two, for a drive or two, but Zeke gonna eat all game. He's gonna eat all game, just about every game. He's gonna lead the league in rushing every year for the most part. So from my viewpoint, Zeke, you know your worth, which is top notch, same as Todd Gurley. And speaking of Todd Gurley got paid because they need him in that. They thought they needed him in that system to help make Jared Goff work, but I guess they didn't, because Anderson came in late last year and in the playoffs and showed, it might be the system more than it is Todd Gurley. But Todd Gurley is great. Don't get me wrong, but it might just be the system for right in this Rams scene right now. It might be the system more than it is Gurley. So you never know, but Gurley might be in trouble with his contract. I don't know if it's guaranteed or not. It's not fully guaranteed, but Zeke, like I said, he's not Gurley. He's never been hurt, no serious injuries, and I know he has off the field issues, but like I said, his quarterback, same as Jared Goff, as they thought about Gurley and Goff. Goff need Gurley, as they know they might be wrong in that situation. It might be the system, whatever. But for the Cowboys, it's been shown they do need Zeke. They do need him. So if I'm Zeke, I know my quarterback. Okay, Amari Cooper might go off, have a few good games. At the end of the day, they won't be as effective without Zeke in the backfield, taking the eyes on the linebacker eyes and the safety eyes coming down, whatever. Zeke draws that attention that other running backs for the Cowboys won't do. So I do think, Zeke look at his team. Okay, Jason Witten back, no biggie. Dak Prescott quarterback, he's not. He can't do it by himself. Amari Cooper, cool. The defense is cool as well. The defense is improved year by year. They're I want to say top. They're probably top 10, top 15 defense for sure. Top 15. They're probably top 10 defense, but they still gonna need a running game, and I'm the missing piece. And I think Zeke should hold out because Jerry Jones will break, in my opinion. But I did see reports, not reports, but I did see a young lady on not First Take on Undisputed and Colin Cowherd show. She was a reporter for the Cowboys, inside reporter for the Cowboys. Jane something, I forgot her name. I apologize to her for not remembering her name, but she had a great point about, you know, athletes get paid during the season, not during the off season. So we never know. Zeke might just be bluffing. Zeke's in Cabo right now, supposed to be training, but Cabo is where his agent has property in, so they're staying there, training there. But she was saying, players get paid during the season while they're playing. During the off season, their income is gone. No, for the most part, at least their game check income is gone until the games roll back around. So Zeke isn't making his game check money right now at all. So you never know how much Zeke has saved and stuff like that, and you never know how much money he has and how much he might need the money and stuff like that. So she's saying Jerry Jones might hold Stephen Jones, his son, who also runs a team. He might end up waiting Zeke out to see if Zeke will miss game checks, which will be, like I said, you never know how stable he is financially. Is he able to do that? So, I hope Zeke is, so he can make this last for the long haul. But you never know. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to. No, I'm not looking at his pockets or looking at his contract. It's not my business. But he was a fourth round pick. He got paid well, guaranteed money. But you never know how people spend it. You know what I'm saying? So it's a battle of attrition now. It depends on if Zeke has money saved up in the bank to see if he's able to withhold from missing, or be able to stand missing a few game checks or a few check stuff like that, to see if he's able to do a Le'Veon Bell and miss an entire year or half a year or 2-3 games until they got it done. You know what I mean? So I really do hope Zeke has money saved or has some form of income coming outside of football, because I would love to see players get what they're worth. Stand your ground. These teams, in my opinion, I'm very player friendly. I want to be in the NFL one day, and I would like to like to get paid my worth if I play for NFL one day. That was my dream growing up. Didn't happen, but if I was a player, I want to get paid my worth, and I hope Zeke holds firm in his belief. I want to get paid what I want to get paid. If not, I'm not coming. I hope he can stand his ground and stay in for a long term, and I hope he can and we'll see what happens if he does. I can't guess either way. Like I said, I don't know his money. I don't know his financial I don't know Zeke's financial situation. I know Jerry Jones can wait all day, but at the same time, his football team can't. So we'll see who breaks first. If I had to guess, I'll probably say Jerry Jones, because I think his time running short as not being an owner, but being a figurehead. I think he wants to win now. I think this is opportunity to win now. The team he has now, with everybody with his main stars needing to be paid, his big three. Also, some guys on the defensive side of the ball, Jalen Smith, Byron Jones, need to be paid soon. And Amari Cooper is in contract talks right now. Dak Prescott is in contract talks right now, and Zeke is also. So this might be the last hurrah for this Dallas Cowboys team until they have to break it up for real next year or maybe 2 years, but probably next year. So we'll see what's gonna happen. But I do think Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones. I think the Cowboys will break first, and I think they will give Zeke his big contract. Um, just know what you're worth, man. Know what you're worth, and hold firm on that. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for other players, man, especially Melvin Gordon. He demanded a trade. News came out today. He demanded a trade last week from the Chargers. But at the same time, is this worth? He's not as valuable as Zeke is to the Cowboys as he is to the Chargers. Melvin Gordon has been often injured throughout his career so far. So Phillip Rivers had done it without him for a bunch of stretches of seasons and a few games throughout these 3-4 seasons. Melvin Gordon has been in the league, so I don't think he's gonna win this battle. I don't see Melvin Gordon winning this battle. I don't know where he's going to be traded to. If he does, I doubt he'll be traded. I think he's going to come back and take his contract and wait like everybody else will. I don't think he's going to get a contract extension. I don't see it. I don't think they value him as much as he values himself to the team because he's been often injured. He's been injured a lot over the last 3-4 seasons. So for him to demand a contract because he played great a year and a half, that's cool, but you haven't been here for the entire stretch of that time. So I don't know about Melvin Gordon. He might not win that battle, but I hope he does, but I don't think he will. But no, I hope he gets paid. If not, get traded and get paid from somebody. But that's same for all sports though, man. Know your worth. If not, sit out. I'm not playing until you pay me what I'm worth. You know what I'm saying? I feel the same way with my job in real life. I don't play sports, but I have a real job. I won't do the same thing, but I can't do that. You know what I mean? I'm not working until you pay me what I'm worth, but it's not going to fly with what I do or with real life work. But, guys should sit out, man. Save your bread, sit out, and wait until you get paid what you're worth to your team. Like I said, but don't sit out unless you know you're worth that to the team. You know what I mean? Melvin Gordon, I don't think you're worth that to the Chargers. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. I don't think so. On the other hand, Michael Thomas, the highest paid receiver in the league right now, is worth all that and more to the Saints. All that and more. $100 million, 5 years, $100 million, $61 million guaranteed. I love it. They had to. They had no other option. Michael Thomas threatened to sit out. I thought he sat out maybe like 1 or 2 days, and the deal got done. Like I said, this is Drew Brees' last hurrah. Know your worth, know your value. I'm the best receiver this team has by a long shot. Let's see. Michael Thomas led the team in receiving by 97 catches. 97 catches was the difference between him and the next receiver. 97 balls. That's crazy. Yeah, for sure. I'm holding out. I don't care if I got a contract the year before. I'm holding out for an even bigger contract this next season. Because, Lord, 97 balls, the catches, the difference between me and receiver number 2 on the team, that is crazy. And the Saints are stacked too. They added Jared Cook at the tight end position, which is a great move. So they have 2 weapons now that can catch and go off. Jared Cook has been putting up numbers for the last 4 or 5 years, which I broke down my NFC South breakdown, I think episode 2 or 3. But he's been balling out for a long time now for a lot of different teams. He hasn't stuck for some reason, but he's been balling out for a long time now. So with him and Michael Thomas on the same team now, my man, it's more weapons. So when Michael Thomas get double teamed, Jared Cook can go off, and once he go off, you know what I mean, and they put more attention on him. You have Kamara still, you have Latavius Murray still, or now instead of Mark Ingram, I think the Saints would be, like I said, I had them number one in the NFC right now, with a close second, and depending on seeding, I have excuse me, my voice going away. Uh, I had the Bears second. It's depending on seeding in the playoffs. Whoever has home field advantage, I think will win that matchup in the NFC Championship game. But like I said, just players, man, know your worth, man. All sports, all walks of life, you know, real life jobs, real life situations. Know your worth, man. Especially players, especially everybody. Forget just a player, everybody. Know your worth. Don't get hold out your money. Don't get hold out your situations because, you know what I mean, they ask nicely or they begging you, know, you pay me what I'm worth. And Zeke, stay strong, hold out. Melvin Gordon, you might gotta, you know what I mean, reflect and think, am I worth this much for real? You know what I'm saying? Just look back and think first before you know what I mean, before you get out too far in the deep end and start losing game checks, Melvin Gordon. Think about what you're doing for sure. And you know what I mean, make sure you know your worth. Because I don't know, brother. You might not be worth that much to the Chargers. You know what I'm saying? Know your worth and know your worth to the team too. So, but on to my last topic. A cool story on Instagram I saw today by a man named Nathan Peterson. Excuse me, Nathan Peterson. Let me make sure the man's name. I don't want to get it wrong, even though I already said it. Shoot, what's his name? Yeah, Nathan Patterson. Nathan Patterson, 24 years old, signed. Excuse me. Before I go to the story, he went to a Colorado Rockies Oakland A's game back a little bit ago, a few months ago, and it's a little fan zone there. A little fan zone where you can throw pitches, and it clocks your speed. He was a former player. He last played baseball in middle school. Last played baseball in middle school. So he's 24. Middle school is around 13 to 15, 14. No, excuse me. Middle school is around what, 12 to 14, something like that. So over about 10 years, 10, 11 years ago, last time he played baseball, and he was throwing 94 miles per hour plus on back-to-back, on like 4 or 5 straight throws. He was doing straight four-seam fastballs, and they were all clocking in at 94 or 94 to 97 miles per hour. So he ended up going viral, and his brother and family members started the campaign to make a team sign him. You know what I mean? He's all going viral, and then the campaign came behind that. So he got a real big buzz in just 1 week. The next week later, after that Colorado's Rockies and Oakland A's game, the Oakland A's called him, and they showed interest in him. So from that point on, a few months passed. He ended up joining a rec league wherever he's from. I'm not sure where he's from. He joined the rec league and started pitching there to brush up on his mechanics and a few throws he needs to develop. So he developed a slider, and a few change-up pitches to change the speeds. When we throw the batters, his slider now has a little bit of movement on it, and the speed clocks in around 70 to 80 miles per hour. So he's throwing real nasty stuff with no experience, but with a fresh arm. He hasn't played since middle school. He hasn't pitched in 10, 11 years seriously. So seriously pitched. So he was in a rec league. So I think just today or just yesterday or last week or sometime like that, the Oakland A's called him again. They saw what he was doing. He was posting every day he was posting pitching videos on Instagram and Facebook and social media sites and stuff like that, showing off his new pitches, showing off the movement, showing off the speed still, showing he's not a fluke. And the Oakland A's called again saying they want to sign him to a contract. So that's cool, man. You know, social media with the million things wrong with it and the critiques we have for it, this one thing kind of outweighs those bad things, man. Where somebody's dream can come true, that they can be found on social media off of throwing in a fan zone area in a professional baseball game, to a few months later be signed by a real live Major League Baseball team, sign a contract off of throwing in a fan zone pitch area. That's crazy. So shout out to Nathan Patterson. He signed recently. I'm not sure the exact date. I think yesterday, August 2nd. I think yesterday. I'm not sure, but I seen a lot of reports saying it was yesterday, but I'm not sure, and I don't want to give the wrong date. But he signed. The team hasn't assigned him to what level yet. A, double A, triple A, whatever. But he says his goal is to end up going to the the big leagues, to playing for the MLB, the Oakland A's team, the pro team. So hopefully his dream comes true, man. It's a crazy story. It's a cool story. It also might be a future like pioneer story, man, because like I said, his arm is super fresh. He hasn't pitched in 10, 11 years. So for him to be throwing that hard, that consistent and stuff like that, a lot of prospect scouts, a lot of teams, a lot of former scouts and current scouts and people who watch the game on a full-time basis, unlike myself, a lot of those guys are saying Nathan Patterson might be the new normal, because might be a star and might be the new normal for teams to look for guys who haven't pitched in a long time, because their arms are super fresh. A lot of guys, the normal major league route, you've been pitching since middle school, high school, college, and sometimes also in the minor leagues too. So you have all that wear and tear on your arm. Is going to require Tommy John surgery soon, or wear and tear. You're tired. You have rotator cuff injuries, tired arm, dead arm, all that stuff that can go on. Nathan Patterson, and others like him who teams might now start to target. They shouldn't have that issue because they haven't pitched in so long. They have a fresh arm. So his arm is really, instead of an MLB arm, a major league player arm, being, if the guy's 30, his arm's probably like 35, 40 because of wear and tear on it. So many pitches, so many innings, since middle school to now, to where they're at now. Nathan Peterson has a young man's arm. His 24-year-old arm might be like a 18, 16, 17, 18-year-old arm because of the less, at least in the baseball world, it might be that young of an arm because he hasn't had much activity using it in like the baseball term. So he might be a pioneer one day, man. You never know. If he does work out, maybe if he even doesn't work out, you might start seeing teams target other guys like him that somehow show off their skill set, and they are brought into minor league contract deals and stuff like that. So you never know what this might start and what this might be the new normal for Major League Baseball. So just keep your eyes out for him. Nathan Patterson with the Oakland A's. Hopefully his dream comes true and go to the big leagues. It'll be cool to see. It'll be fun to watch. It'll be a great story. It's already a great story. It'll be an even better story if he can make the big leagues and make a name for himself and make some noise. But if not, it's already a cool, great story. But shout out to him, man. It's a cool story, man. It's crazy. But that'll be it for this episode, man. Hope y'all enjoyed episode 6. Be sure to download, listen, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcast, SoundCloud, YouTube, everywhere, man. This podcast, Stats Free Sports Podcast, is everywhere. Go tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Share on Facebook. Again, my social media is Stats Free Sports on Facebook and Instagram. Be sure to follow on both. Comment, DM, let's debate on topics, whatever you want to do, man. Hit me up. Let's go. I'll see y'all episode 7. Peace.